No, we just laughed, and as I walked out, Wade said something stupid. It always does it.
How, at the last back session, did you get what you wanted out of this last month?
Yeah, we did, but, again, they've got to carry over to the basketball court. Their confidence is going to come from demonstrated performance, going on a basketball court and doing it. The first game we have is a road game in a tough environment where you're coaching from the end zones, in a team that's going to, play pretty, controlled basketball. So it'll be a good test for us because you have to be a disciplined team on both defense and offense because of how they play.
You said this summer that Willie didn't maybe know how good he could be, and that maybe you didn't know how good he could be when you were recruiting him. How he's starting now, the last couple of games in stretches, dominating. Is he figuring it out? And are you seeing?
He's just getting more confident. Again, he's starting to perform on the basketball court, and he knows now he can do it. See, all the talk and all the other stuff, it's not about that. It is about going on that court and performing, and knowing I can do this if I choose to do it. And being disciplined enough to come out. And, he does sell himself against some other guys that have, they don't want to sell themselves. They think staying on the court is what it's about, but it's not. But he's done great.
You guys got better. You were better at Louisville than you were in Notre Dame. Are there road lessons that guys take from one to the next?
We're a different team. We have time. That's the biggest lesson we learned from that. Compliment our team.
What do you notice? Every guy you hear says, we're better, we're better, we're better. What are you noticing after all this long stretch now that you've been able to look at?
Well, they've eaten those meals now, and so now they're putting on weight. They're getting time to weight train, which is a little harder to do when you're doing classes and all the other stuff. And they're spending a lot of time together. So not only are individual players getting better with the way we do this, what happens is your team starts to get better. See, Ryan now is around his team 24 hours a day, and he's able to really connect with them, and now he's able to lead more. But you got to be around them. You got to be with them. You got to know that. And he's doing it now.
What was having Nerlens and Willie on the court with Alex when you go with that big group?
We're a big team, but it's again, we should be a great rebounding team, but you got to make efforts. I mean, the whole thing, it's not talent, it's an effort level. If you have talent and they give you a great effort, more of an effort than the other team, you do what we did last year. You win most of the games. If you have a talented team that doesn't give you effort, you're going to get beat. Just how it is. A less talented team will outwork the more talented team, and they're going to win. That was the first thing that we had to convince these guys. The second part of it was the mental discipline you need to sustain 40 minutes. You can't play 3 or 4 minutes and then say, okay, now I'm just going to do what I want to do, which is what we had done throughout. And then the last part of it is how bad they need each other. I mean, I think they're starting to understand it, but I'm not sure they're quite there yet.
Along those lines, you said after the Eastern Michigan game that Alex was halfway home, halfway to where you guys needed him to be. Where is he today?
We'll see after the game. We'll have a good idea. I mean, everybody's just looking for a fight. They don't care how he shoots the ball. If he turns it over some, I don't think anybody cares. They're zeroed in on, is he out there in a battle? Is he competing? Does he have a sense of urgency or not? And if he doesn't, then you'll see that he didn't take the steps that we thought. My hope is that he's starting to get it, and it's going to carry over into the games.
How did it kind of strike you that you decided to pick, that's the way I've got to go? How did that hit you when
Just normally, like stuff hits me, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm having a coffee, or I'm in the shower, or something says, you know what, you need to do this. So whoever that is in there, I say, okay, you know what, I think you're right.
How well, John, are you guys meeting the defensive standard that your teams have set over the years?
Pretty good. I mean, if you look at our numbers, our numbers are pretty good. And, when you talk about, the losses we have, the Baylor game was a tough one to swallow. But they're not bad. Baylor and us are like the same. I don't think we had Ryan that game. Did we have Ryan that game?
Maybe 15, yeah, or so.
Okay. But the other games, I don't know, the three of those teams have lost 2 games between them. Yeah. We lost to good teams. And we're doing some good things. We're defensively okay. I mean, we need to be a little stronger on the ball than we are. I think Ryan's done well, but there are other spots on the floor where we're not guarding the dribble as well as we can. But when you got shot blockers like we do and we're as big as we do, it just becomes a rough thing. I mean, last year's team, everybody played us the same way. Beat them up. Physically beat them up. I think this year they're doing the same kind of deal with this team. And we just got to withstand it. And after we understood that doesn't work and we can still play through it, we became a pretty good team.
Calipari, the last couple of years has been pretty balanced. This is much more of a three-point shooting team. I think almost more than 40% of their shots are threes. What do you do with them? How do you try with them?
Oh, just try to make it hard, but you're not going to stop them from shooting threes if that's what they do. I mean, and if they make a bunch, we'll lose. They go 25 threes and they make 20, it's been a good start. Who's our next game? I mean, but you're not going to say, all right, we're going to hold them to 8 threes, 10. They're going to shoot them. The question is, do you make them hard? Sometimes you make them hard and teams still make them. That's why it's always dangerous. I can remember over the years playing a team that's going to shoot 30 threes and I'd be a wreck just based on the fact that what if they pick a game and it's our game and they make them all? Because they are going to shoot them, and this is one of those teams.
From your experience coaching down there, how different is it with the sidelines, and how have you learned to kind of deal with that, having been there, was it 3 times now?
Well, it just makes it more difficult to communicate to your team. And they've got to communicate with each other, and you've got to have pretty much the point guard's got to be in tune with you, because if he's turning around and looking at you, you're going to lose the ball. So, we've done okay down there. We haven't played our best games, but I'll tell you, every game we've played against them have been wars. I mean, now they've had, for 3 years, they had the same team. Now we're going through a totally different team. But for 3 years, they had the same team, and it was an outstanding team. And they were wars. Every game we played against them was a war.
Do you worry at all that Alex tries to do too much in a sort of homecoming, or do you almost hope he tries to?
If it's an effort thing, he can do as much as he wants. Just go till you pass out,
John, what do your guys need to understand about the grind they're getting ready to embark on? It's 2 weeks long, or 2 games longer than even last year.
They're fine. I mean, we're going to be, I told them after last night's dinner, I just said, now we just went through a great month of training. Now you go on the court and show what you worked on. And there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be like you're just going to beat everybody by 30. You're going to be down at half at times. But the whole point is you got a great foundation now to fight, to battle, to know that you can play with anybody if you choose to.
John Hood was in the gym there. Is he back with the team now?
Who's that?
John Hood.
He didn't practice, but he's been in the gym.
You mentioned several times that Ryan is leading better, in part because he's been around the team more. Is that because of the nature of the point guard position that he has to do that, or is it the way that this team is comprised that Ryan had to be that guy? And it just so happens he's the
if
point
you're not
guard.
around the team, it's hard to lead. It's hard to walk in the gym if you're never around the guys. And that's what he knew, and that's what he's done a great job. We're doing individual work. He stays after, because he and Archie, we do their individual work before practice. The others are doing them in the morning, and he stays and encourages his team. That's what leaders do. Instead of going back, well, I'm not worried about anybody. He's sitting there and encouraging. You got this, go. And that's what those guys got to know, that you're there for them. He's going to have the ball in his hands. I'm pleased with the decision making he's making. He's getting physically tougher, so he can play through bumps. He's gained, I think, 7 or 8 pounds. So that stuff's all good too.
How well does Alex take coaching, take instruction?
It's great.
How much does that help his development to take?
Well, it's to listen and then to change what you do is 2 different things. I mean, as far as he's respectful and he's not, is he responding to everything? No. That's because it's really hard. And it's like anybody else, you get in a comfort level and someone tries to push you out of that comfort level, you fight it. someone tries to get you to play harder and you don't, sometimes it becomes embarrassing when everybody's watching that you're not able to do it, and it makes it doubly hard to break through. But, you know, as soon as he finds out he can do this, every great player out there was a point in his career that he had to learn what Alex is learning. You know, I gotta bust through this when I'm tired. I cannot look exhausted. I cannot play like I'm, you know, and then I don't need anybody to alibi for me. I don't need that. What I need is to just change, and you got to recognize it first, which he has. Now you got to change it.
Last question.
Over the years, you've been really good at kind of saying how many teams are elite and can make a run. How many do you see now, and how do you get into that group?
I think there are probably, I really don't. Again, I haven't watched the season as closely. Like, I didn't even watch games last night. I would tell you that what I'm seeing, there's probably 30 teams that could be in the Final Four. And I don't think there's any clear-cut national champion winner. If you talk about Louisville, they got to be right there as one of those if you're talking 4 or 5. You know, possibly, I like Michigan. They're doing it shooting. It scares me sometimes, because sometimes you go on a run, you go a month and can't make a shot. And if that's what you're relying on, your team goes south. But I think Michigan right now may be playing better than anybody in the country, that being said. So I think there's like 30, 40 teams that could get to the Final Four.
Are you
We're
in that
seeing
mix?
well, at this point, probably not. But by March, that's what our plan would be. And I would tell you that even teams like VCU, teams like Butler, those teams all have a chance. You have teams ranked in the top 20 that, you know, I think one team got beat by 30 at home last night. That's why I say, and that team got beat. It's one of those years. It's just like a couple years ago where I'm worried about my team. That's all I got to worry about.
Yeah. When you
Get
see
my
that,
team right.
does that give you confidence in your team because it's so open?
No, it's great for all of us out there. Just, okay, who's going to have their team playing the best in March? Because that's what it'll be about. You know, whose team is playing the best in March? There are different teams that have played well early. Arizona's playing well. You know, a couple crazy wins, but they still won those games. They're learning how to win. You might throw them in that bunch. I don't know. But again, I haven't seen Arizona play 3 minutes. So I won't know, but, you know, it feels right now like it was a couple of years ago.
John, you mentioned on your show last night that Willie and Moreland, if I heard you right, or the other night, were shooting underhand on the free throws. Is that one we should expect tomorrow night, or is that too in the air?
Well, no, it's the option. The question was, why don't you just tell them to bank it, throw it up there,
All right.
fire it off that backboard, bank it. And so, in jest says, we're teaching them underhand. So, you guys are good, coach. I like that.